want 5 proven strategies that are going to grow your Spotify streams, but they need to be free. We've got no money. We've spent all the money on the recording, or we just don't have any money, or we just simply want to grow our Spotify streams. That's what today's about. Let's rip into it. So we need 5 proven strategies. They need to be free, and you need to be able to start them today as a takeaway from this video. That's what we've got to offer you. And in fact, not just 5, I'm going to throw in a bonus tip at the end that was staring you at the face from day one. G'day and welcome to Indie Over 50, a channel dedicated to those of us over the age of 50 releasing new and original music. And remember, if you've released anything, share us the links in the comments below for your Spotify or YouTube links. We're building an Indie Over 50 playlist. Now, my last video was on Spotify, was on about marketing. And what I learned through that process was I had been underinvestigating. I'd been underinvesting. Even as a career executive involved in making investment decisions, I had underinvested in my own music. And it was all about what I needed to do to lift my profile and lift my streams. But today I've got a new challenge. It's about doing all that, but for free. And I'll put that link below so you can check that out. Now today, this is all about marketing still, but this time, all for free. Nix, nada. You don't have to hand over the plastic fantastic, no CCV numbers at all. And these are proven strategies for me. I've done them all, and they've all worked. There'll be different results, of course, for all of us, depending on what we're doing and how we're doing it and our song. But let's start with the first one. Now, the first one is play live. Hang on, this is about Spotify, not live music. Hear me out. If you can play live, and look, we know not every artist can play live. It's because they're in a band or they're a studio sound, or you just don't have the musical skills, or you don't have the voice to present your own songs. That's all real things. But if you can, let's play live. Now, of course, with playing live, the best case is you might be paid to play as a covers band. But even if you're being paid to play as a covers band, in my experience, you can throw in 1 or 2 originals per set. You're not going to lose the audience. Now, sure, you're not going to do it when the crowd is singing along to Living on a Prayer. That's not the time to drop them in. Let's not drop the mic there. But starting off a set, finishing off a set, in the middle of a set, you can drop in your own songs, and it works. It works because you may gain a fan or a follower, and that will help build your Spotify streams. And even if you're not a paid artist, just those open mic opportunities to engage and find audiences, to get feedback on an old song or a new song that you're working on. But here's my tip about playing live and about increasing your followers. You've got to make it easy for the audience. So many times I've been out watching an amazing artist or performer and then say, thanks so much, where you can follow us on all the socials and likes and Facebook and everything. It's too late. I've forgotten. I didn't know that I was about to find out about the name, and therefore I didn't hear it. So you've got to change that conversation. First of all, the best thing is if you can have an artist lightbox with your name or handle on the stage so that people can see it permanently. And if you are going to introduce it, say, hey, you can find us on socials. You can follow us and like it. We'd really appreciate it. We've got some great stuff online. Our artist name is Clear as a Bell. That's not a bad name. I should check that out. Clear as a bell. And all of a sudden, you've given them the option to let them know you are going to share your name. Maybe they've already got their phone out and their ears are pricked and they can follow you on the socials. And that's going to help build your streams and followers. The second strategy to increase your streams is playlisting. Okay. Now, playlisting is very, very close to pay to play. But let's talk about the free option because there are some. Now, I talked about that in my last video about the playlisting as well. I'll put that link below. But here are the deal. There is daily playlists. I'll have the links below. Daily playlists, Submit Hub, Submit Link. They all have options of free playlisting. I've used them and I've got onto playlists using that method. With daily playlists, I've seen playlists that I've seen on other paid platforms. So it's another way that they've got a reach out to people who are potentially going to fill their playlist platform. So it definitely does work. Now, there might be terms and conditions. You might have a certain burn down that you can only do one submission every 24 hours or 4 hours with Submit Hub, but it can work. There are also playlists that you want to get onto that aren't offering themselves up on that free option. So, you're going to reduce your options, but it is free. And look, the other thing to check out with playlists is, especially ones you've been on in the past, go and check them out. You might find that on their playlist details, they actually offer a submission email address. Clearly, not all playlists do that, but some of them do. And the other ones are like if you've used Groover in the past or you use it as a paid platform, they will have options that will enable you to capture the email address of those who've given permission for you to maintain contact with them in the future. So when you've got a new release coming out for free, you can reach out to some of those playlist providers. Third way to engage and blow up your Spotify's is just engage in some of the communities online. Now, a lot of these I've found around Facebook, and there'll be Facebook groups. Like there'll be something in the word in the Facebook group name like original songs or pitch your opportunities or songwriters. These forums, they're a bit of a free-for-all, a little bit of Wild West, but they do give you the opportunity to obviously share your music, follow and discover others. And of course, through that process, there are opportunities that are created for people to like and then follow and listen to your music going forward. So they do work. They take a bit of time, a bit of effort, and a little bit of mucking around that goes on in these type of community forums. But the only other thing I would mention about those engaging on those online communities is make sure, again, you make it really, really easy for someone who generally wants to follow you. If they say share a Spotify link, share a Spotify link. Don't share your Bandcamp link. And the other thing is on your own profile, because sometimes people will go and check your profile out. Make sure again you give them a great gateway to your music. Obviously, that could be a Spotify link, or it could be to your website, your artist's website. It could be, and then look, if you don't have the time or money for an artist's website, go for Linktree. I'll put the link to Linktree below. They are really, really cool. It's so easy. That's what I use. And on that one link, you've got access to all your songs, maybe some other materials like a video or a press release or an article in an editorial. And also, once they go and choose that song, then they're given a menu of options that you choose about whether it's on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Tidal, Deezer, whatever else it's going to be. Now, if we carry on with that idea, some YouTubers, for example, have the opportunity to gain access to emails with permission from their followers. And that's something else you could pursue or consider in the future. And that way you're building your own database with permission of people that you can contact in the future to offer new music or to invite them to follow you or hear your music on Spotify and the other platforms. Now, that's one part of the proven strategies I've not actually used myself, but I know in business and from seeing it work in the online community, it does work. The fourth proven strategy is to get your song played on radio. Well, that sounded simple. Okay, maybe not that simple. Let's talk about radio. So, okay, well, what's radio got to do with Spotify streams? Well, firstly, commercially, it's actually usually better to be played on radio than on Spotify, just from a commercial point of view. But the other beauty of being played on radio is the discovery mode through Shazam. Because if you're listening to, you know what yourself, if you listen to a great song on the radio or a TV show, you never heard of it before, you pull out your phone and do the Shazam thing. I got to tell you, as an artist, it's really, really cool to see, last week, in Apple Music reports to me every week, like they say, there were 17 Shazams of this song last week. In 3 in Ireland and 2 in Hungary, whatever the case might be. It's really, really exciting. But it also shows you the power of being played on radio so that people can then discover you and then find you, follow you and listen to your music and see your Spotify links grow. So how are we going to do this for free? Look, the big commercial radio stations, they're really channels for the record labels. It's really, really hard. Even the old days, you could walk into the local station and hand over your record and maybe get it to play. It doesn't really exist anymore. It's all driven by algorithms and centrally through playlisting for those broadcast stations. There's a whole new range of radio stations out there through community radio stations. In America, it's college radio stations as well. Really significant opportunities, and they are far more approachable. Now, in Australia, where I am, we actually have a platform called AMRAP. Don't know what the acronym stands for, but basically it's a platform where people can upload their independent music. and it makes it available for community radio stations. And a lot of the community radio stations go there to find new music and then make it available for playing on their programs. You can connect with broadcasters, you can connect with the radio stations as well to play you. And even better, there's a record then of which stations have actually played, and that goes through to your royalty streams. But again, the value of this is it's building your brand, it's getting your music out there, and it's also enabling the opportunity to hear you, follow you, like you, play, and then play your streams on Spotify. We also in Australia have another platform called Triple J Unearthed, part of the national broadcaster, and it's again another discovery platform, typically younger artists on there, and they can be discovered to the point that on the Unearthed platform, it does really, really well through listener feedback and reviews. They are often picked up and played on the radio station, the official radio station of Triple J in Australia. So remember, if you can get played on radio, it's a win-win. Once you've done it, it's free and you could build followers, fans, and streams in the future. But there's nothing better for you to earn more streams for free than for other people to talk about you, for other people to recommend you. That's number 5. That one is PR, media, people picking you up, coming up with a story about you and sending those listeners or those readers to your website, to your links, and to your songs. Now, again, is it free? Well, yes, it's free. But look, if you don't have the money to engage a PR firm, or you don't have that connection to an amazing radio station locally or a newspaper or whatever that you need to get into there, sometimes you do have those connections, then what you need to do is find a different way of engaging. Now, the great thing is online, there are many zines, many blogs available online that are far more approachable and will be open to sharing your story. So if you Google new music and artist releases and reviews, you'll find a whole heap of these organizations on the website, and they can be more approachable through their website or through a form or through an email. But my advice here is you need an angle. The fact that John Doe has just put out a new record after 3 years is not a story. The fact that Mrs. Doe plays all the instruments isn't a story. Might be really interesting for you, but it's not an angle for them. Let me tell you a story about when I first put out a vinyl record. Now, okay, this one was a long time ago, last century, but it was basically a duo that I was in. I was an accountant and my mate was a doctor, and we put out an Australian Christmas song. And we kind of had this stick there for it's a doctor and accountant duo release Australian rock Christmas song. That was our headline, and it actually worked. We got amazing press for free. We got front page of music journals and magazines of the day. We got interviews by celebrities, celebrity reviewers. We got front page of local and community newspapers, got radio interviews. And so the press was really, really awesome. It worked because we had an angle. It was a little bit interesting. It was a little bit different. It wasn't a great song. So that's the other half of this story. The song was, I was singing. It was before I'd learned that I couldn't sing. I was a bit ambitious and the production was a bit naff. So quite rightly, the record didn't chart and the record didn't take off. And most reviews were pretty tongue-in-cheek, as they were rightly needed to be. But the great thing is we had a great time. We put out a record and we got a lot of press. Now, I think the opportunity today is still the same. You just need to find the interesting angle that grabs people's attention. Easier said than done? That's the work for you. So there you go. 5 proven strategies. Thanks for hanging on. A bonus tip for you. Now, this one, as I said, you're going to be thinking, this was in front of me the whole time. The simple bonus tip is get a recording contract. Hang on. Now, haven't we been trying to do that the whole way through? There is a method, and it was staring at you all the way through. Now, I reckon if you're watching an Indie Over 50 YouTube film clip, that there's a good chance that you remember the film Wayne's World. And Wayne's World gave us a complete blueprint of how to do this. Remember how it was done? It was really simple. They just hacked into the satellite broadcast system, into the record company executive's home, so he could watch the magical performance and sign up the artist. Because we know how that ends. So do you remember how it actually ended? The record executive, Frankie Sharp, actually passed. But the beauty with Wayne's World is they had three endings. So they had the sad ending, they had the Scooby-Doo ending, and then they had the happy ending where they did get the recording contract. There you go. Look it up. Great movie. Okay, so that last tip was a bit more fun. I don't know if that's so helpful. But I guess it always says we don't quite know how our story is going to turn out. That's the fun of being indie over 50. Thanks so much for hanging in. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, on other things that are free, it's free to subscribe and it's free to share your music that's on Spotify links or a YouTube link. Put it in the comments below. We're building our Indie Over 50 playlists. We make beautiful music. I'll make another video soon and I'll see you then.